So in 1997, a very popular song came out that compares this life to a bittersweet symphony. And this is true. This life is full of good and bad, good times and bad times, happiness, distress, pleasure, pain, contentment, and discomfort. So we take it for granted. This is just part of life. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, the ancient scripture that we study, he says that the material world is full of dualities, and that we cannot be free from these dualities in the material world. It's just something that if we have pleasure in the material world, there's going to be pain, there's going to be suffering. And many people most everyone, especially at this age, this is a very passionate age. Most everyone is working very hard. Everyone is working full-time jobs, sometimes 2 jobs. And everyone is working for some enjoyment. Because the soul by nature wants to enjoy. The soul is pleasure-seeking. The living entity is trying to avoid pain and move to pleasure. And businesses know this. This is a way of business to get people to buy a product, to avoid pain and to move to pleasure. And so everyone is searching after this. And everybody is trying to make a situation so they can enjoy more. There's a story about I'm not sure exactly how this happened, but a mouse was being chased by a cat. And the mouse somehow came in contact with a yogi and requested that the yogi turn him into a cat. So the yogi turned the mouse into a cat. And in the body of a cat, the cat was being chased by a dog. And so again, the cat approached the yogi and requested that he be changed into a dog, and the yogi did. And then in the dog's body, the dog became chased by a tiger. And in the body of the tiger tried to attack and eat the yogi. So then the yogi turned him back into a mouse. So this is just a story just showing that we are always trying to change our position, but a quality of this material nature is that the whole material nature is based on this in desire to enjoy through our own mind and senses. And this leads to a degradation of consciousness. Now we go through ages like we go through seasons. The first age is the mode of goodness, and they're very high God consciousness. And then as the ages go on, the consciousness is degraded more and more based on this desire to satisfy our own mind and senses. And this desire you can see in every animal, that every animal is simply trying to survive or simply trying to, it doesn't matter, at the cost of others, the animal will look for enjoyment, no matter what. There's no question of, in an animal body, there's no question of I will, usually, that I will sacrifice for my fellow man if I'm in danger. So recently, a very good friend of mine showed me a comic strip, and the comic strip had a young boy sitting in front of a TV, and the man on TV was telling this boy he was hungry, and he was telling him what to eat. So he said, "You're hungry, you can eat this nice big pizza." And he continued to have desires, and he was bored, so he said, "Okay, buy this video game." Sick, okay, we'll take this medication. I feel unfulfilled, purchase this car. So again and again, this person on TV was telling this boy what to do. And the boy is sitting there in front of the TV, and he's getting older, He's growing in age, and you see as the comic strip goes on that this whole room is filled with pizza boxes and beer cans, and he's sitting there and he's got a fat stomach and he looks very miserable. And then so he finally says, okay, you've never told me the truth, and I'm going to turn you off. So he finally, the old age, he turns off the TV and he walks outside, and it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and then he takes a few steps and then he sees death personified, ready to take him. So this enjoyment that we seek is temporary, and it ends in suffering. And ultimately, we may enjoy for even most of our life. Most people are suffering most of their life, but someone might be fortunate enough to enjoy for most of their life. But at the end, the last note is death. So one time, Srila Prabhupada is our founder Acharya. He's the founder of the Krishna consciousness movement, and he's our spiritual guide and spiritual teacher. And he also sacrificed everything to come here to give us this knowledge. And he was once asked by a reporter about accusations that he was brainwashing young boys and girls. And Prabhupada innocently said, yes, their brains are very dirty and they need to be cleaned. What Prabhupada would talk about often was that the miracle was that these young boys and girls who had so many horrible habits, they were unclean, they were addicted to drugs and alcohol and all kinds of bad habits. They were always unhappy, generally unhappy. And when they took to Krishna conscious philosophy by the mercy of Prabhupada, they were bright-faced and clean, and they would wake up very early in the morning, and they would worship the Lord, and they were happy and dancing in ecstasy and eating vegetarian food. And Prabhupada said, this is a miracle. These hippies become clean, pure devotees.
Happies.
Hippies became happies. So Prabhupada, he makes it very clear and very simple that there's two different natures. There's prakriti and there's purusha. These are Sanskrit words. The purusha means the enjoyer, and the prakriti means the enjoyable. And our problem is that we are actually the prakriti, but we think we're the purusha. We think we are the enjoyer, but actually we are to be enjoyed. So we are in this material world, and we are trying to enjoy through matter. We're trying to take the things around us, see the things around us, and to enjoy based on our mind and senses. And just like this comic strip, whatever our eyes want, we will give into that. This is real brainwashing. That brainwashing is not making somebody from bad habits to good habits and become pure devotee. Brainwashing means that we give in to our mind and our senses. We give in to the whims of our mind and senses. And the brainwashing is telling people that you can actually be happy this way. But since we are meant to be enjoyed. Just like if somebody hands you a very juicy, nice fruit, and you keep it in your hands, then you will not have any enjoyment until you put it into your stomach, and then your body will be satisfied. So Krishna has given us this opportunity to try to be the controller and the enjoyer, to be the proprietor, and to enjoy by having others serve us. But this is unnatural. Our position is one of service to God. And so Prabhupada says that there's actually no enjoyment in this material world. There is enjoyment in this material world is non-existent. We think it's enjoyment because we don't know what true enjoyment really is. That It depends on your standard. What's your standard of enjoyment? That a pig eats stool and plays in the mud all day, and they think they're enjoying very much. And trees stand out in the cold and the rain and the thunder, and they stand all day in the hot sun, and the tree would think that he's enjoying too. So Prabhupada makes it clear that we cannot find true satisfaction through trying to enjoy material nature. The material matter is property. It's meant for Krishna's enjoyment. And also, we are also property, but we are superior property. And we are also meant for Krishna's enjoyment. And does that mean that Krishna uses us for enjoyment? No. It simply means that there's no taste in material enjoyment until we connect in relationship with God. That the true taste is surrendering to God in love. And this is the true nectar that we've all been longing for and then seeking. And we're trying to find it through satisfying our senses through matter. And this is not possible. So the process of spiritual life is learning how to reconnect with God, learning how to fall in love again, learning how to change lust into love. This is a process of purification of our consciousness. But yet we have so many material desires, so how are we free from this? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states the following: though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. This is actually the only way. That sometimes impersonal meditators, what happens is that people try to enjoy. They try very hard to enjoy. And ultimately, when we try to enjoy materially, our pursuits are frustrated. We try again, and ultimately we're left unfulfilled, frustrated, and angry. And so what happens is that people take to meditation to be free from this. They say, I reject sense enjoyment, now I will silently meditate, and I will restrict all my senses. But this is only also temporary. Because by nature, the soul, there's two natures of the soul. That one, the soul is by nature always active. And the second is that the soul wants enjoyment, wants to enjoy different tastes in the relationship. So, actually, Srila Prabhupada says that this process of Krishna consciousness is not a process of speculation. It's not a process of imaginative ecstasy. And Krishna consciousness is not. Because Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition on the mind. And it's not that we are saying, oh, here's this Krishna. Here's this Krishna now. Now I'm going to tell you all about this person. Now I want you to love this person. No. The love for Krishna is already there. It's already in our heart. It's simply not manifested. Just like it's a fact that the clouds exist, but sometimes the clouds aren't in the sky. They're not manifested. There's certain qualities within us, such as the quality of anger, that sometimes is manifested and sometimes is not. So Krishna consciousness is simply reawakening us to our dormant love of God. That we are in a comatose state. That we have always known Krishna. This is not an artificial process. This is a natural process. Just like two people falling in love. This is not forced. This comes naturally. It's a natural attraction. In the same way, this process of purification, this process of Krishna consciousness, is preparing us This is preparing us to accept Krishna. We are eternally connected with Krishna in a loving relationship. But because we had this desire, like little children, this desire from their father to do something that the father knows is not good for them, and we had this intense desire to enjoy separate from Krishna, to try to be the controller and the enjoyer. And so Krishna finally said, Krishna satisfies all our desires. He's simply satisfying our desires. So he finally says, okay. And then based on our actions and reactions in the material world, we entangle ourselves more and more in this network of false enjoyment. So how do we be free from these desires? We have to experience a higher taste. We have to fill this void. If we take away the material sense gratification, we have to replace it with a higher enjoyment. This higher enjoyment is connection with God in a loving relationship. So this Krishna consciousness is a process to purify our consciousness. That if we didn't desire sense gratification, we didn't desire to enjoy the matter, then it wouldn't be a problem. The only reason it's a problem is because we have such a strong attachment for it. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, as all surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. So what is this reward? This verse is from the 4th chapter, Transcendental Knowledge. This reward is himself. That the only way we cannot see Krishna is that Krishna puts a covering over us. Krishna is as brilliant as 1,000 suns rising in the sky at the same time. You cannot miss Krishna. Krishna is all pervasive. He is the source of everything. He gives strength. He gives the ability. He can turn He is the ability in man. He is the supreme Lord. He is all pervasive. And that's the difference between God and us. There's so many people that may over time pose to be God, but they cannot show the opulence. They cannot show the true potency of God. And God is manifest in everyone's heart. He expands into everyone's heart. And his first expansion, actually, to enjoy loving relationships, is his brother, Sri Balaram. Krishna expands as his brother. And Balaram is actually the original spiritual master. So Krishna sets up a way for us to approach him through the spiritual master. And generally, the pastimes of Krishna, when Krishna comes, are very confidential. They're very sweet. And we generally don't talk about them until we have studied the philosophy, until we've engaged in the practice. And then we'll talk about pastimes of Krishna. But everyone here has chanted the holy name of Krishna, has purified themselves through chanting. Everyone here has eaten prasad. So I cannot do any justice to pastimes of Krishna, but when Krishna reached the 6th year, him and his cowherd boyfriend were put in charge of tending the cows and the calves. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead that he was playing as a little boy. And it was very beautiful in Vrindavan. The wonderful aromas in the air, water was flowing. There were meadows of grass, and the fruit on the trees were bent down, offering themselves to Krishna. And Krishna would play his flute through the meadows. He would call the cows and the calves individually by their names, and he would call them with love. And he would enjoy with the cowherd boyfriends. They would be playing all kinds of games. They'd be imitating animals. They would imitate the quacking of the swans. Krishna would move his head back and forward, imitating the cow, and make everyone laugh. And then when they were to rest, Krishna would sometimes lay his head on the root of a tree, and sometimes he would lay his head on the lap of a cowherd boy. And some of the boys would sing, and some would dance. And so there's very sweet pastimes of Krishna. And there was one forest known as the Taliban forest, where there's very wonderful fruit. But the boys could not enter there because there was a demon in the shape of an ass living there, a very powerful demon. And so they requested Balaram to vanquish this demon. And so Balaram, wanting to please his devotee, went there with Krishna. And he moved a tree, he shook a tree, and some of the true fruit fell. So the demon, Danakasura, heard of this and came running. And he turned his back to Balaram and kicked Balaram in the chest. But Balaram didn't say anything. So he kicked again, and this time Balaram grabbed him with one hand and spun him around and threw him into a tree, and killing the demon. And this way, Krishna and Balaram, as all his friends came, they killed all the demons in the forest, like this way. So Balaram was known for killing specifically two demons: the Danakasura, the demon of the ass, and Pralambasura, another demon. And Danakasura, the ass or the donkey, Prabhupada would talk about this very often, that the donkey, the ass is not very intelligent. That the donkey will work all day for a little bit of hay. But he can easily go in the meadows and eat hay, but he's working hard all day. And also in the summer season, the ass gets very happy because the grass is very sparse. And as he goes eating the grass, he's able to look back and see, he says, wow, look how far I've come, look how much grass, look how much I've eaten. So he's very satisfied. But yet in the spring, when all the grass is growing and full, he doesn't have to move very far, so he thinks that something's wrong. So he gets into anxiety and worry. And he has poor indigestion. So this is representing, Balaram killing this demon is representing the desire for sense gratification. The Prabhupada says, why do we work hard? Why do we work so hard for a little bit of sense gratification? This is temporary. This is not good for us. This is not very intelligent. And then the other demon, Pralambasura, who snuck amid the cows and Krishna, Balaram also killed this demon, and this demon represents our desire for subtle sense gratification in the form of subtle sex life, fame, profit, adoration, and distinction. So this is just to tell that actually we are wandering through this material world, and we are caught in this network of action and reaction, of desire and hate. And by the causeless mercy of the Lord, He comes time and time again to attract His devotees back to Him. By the causeless mercy, one comes in contact with a pure devotee, and the seed of devotion is planted in the heart. And this is the most wonderful, auspicious time for us, when we come in contact with the devotee, that we have no qualifications. I simply have no qualifications. And based on the mercy of the pure devotee, the seed of devotion is planted in the heart. And this bhakti, this devotion, it may be stalled, but this bhakti, this gives the taste. So when we get a little taste, when we taste the pleasure of spiritual life, then there's no going back. Because after tasting the pleasure and connecting to Krishna in love, the temporary sense enjoyment is insignificant. And we may stall it. We may be very stubborn. We may be very stubborn, but we may stall it for a time, but we can't stop it. This seed of devotion will grow in our hearts, and there is no stopping it. This is the mercy of the pure devotee. That we can create a better environment for it to grow. Just like some plants, they will still live if they're in a certain pot. But until maybe you have to repot them, and then they can grow and flourish more. You have to put them in a better environment. So we're running out of time, but I briefly want to mention that this process of reawakening the storming love for God is one that starts with a practice, a set practice. That Srila Rupa Goswami, a great sage and saint in our line, he gives 6 principles favorable for the execution of devotional service. And the first is being very enthusiastic. We need enthusiasm to do anything. So be enthusiastic about serving Krishna. The second is endeavoring with confidence. That be confident that, yes, I may still be so entangled in this material world of temporary sense enjoyment, but be confident that if I am steady in my practice, that Krishna will help. Krishna says he will help. He says, I will carry what you lack and I will preserve what you have. And the third is being patient. And we can't demand to see Krishna. Krishna reveals himself. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Krishna will reveal himself to us in time. We have to be patient. We have left Krishna. So coming back to Krishna, we have to let him respond in his time to take us back. He will take us back. And the fourth is acting according to regular principles. And there's two types. There's regular principles mean that I will take a temporary discomfort. I will it's called tapasya, or a little bit of austerity in order for a higher cause. And even materially speaking, I remember reading a book called The Road Less Traveled by Robert Frost before he came to Krishna consciousness. And he talked about delaying sense gratification. That we will work hard and we'll take austerity in order to have more sense gratification in the future. That the goal is different. We want to please Krishna. The